It's been 25 years since Gainesville was shaken by the murders of 5 college students.
And those memories live on for the families and friends, as well as the members of law enforcement who pursued justice for the victims. WUFT's Jenny Tittner spoke with Chief Clifton, who was Gainesville's police chief at the time of the murders. Jenny, what did Clifton have to say looking back at the case?
Jenna, Clifton said he was off duty getting ready to play racquetball on August 26, 1990, when his deputy chief called him to report the first crime scene. The days and weeks that followed were an unrelenting pursuit of the killer.
When then Chief Clifton arrived at the Williamsburg Village Apartments, he said he saw a scene he would never forget. 2 UF students brutally murdered in their own apartment.
It was very clear to a veteran police officer that this was not just a Saturday night argument and fight that resulted in murder. This was planned. We could easily see this was a serial murder.
Panic and worry spread through Gainesville after 3 more victims were found murdered. Top law enforcement and forensic experts arrived from around the country to help GPD name a suspect.
You'll see more police coverage than you've ever seen in any city you've ever lived in.
WUFT spoke with Clifton 1 year after the case to reflect on his promise to solve the murders.
I had to go out there and say something reassuring to the extent that I really believed. So I just walked out and said, we'll catch this killer. I don't know if it'll be in 72 hours or 72 months.
25 years later, Clifton says he stands by this statement.
I didn't say soon. It could be 3 weeks. It could be 3 months. It could be 3 years. But we're going to catch this guy. Of course, he'd caught himself, really. We just had to identify him.
Danny Rolling was arrested in Ocala for robbing a grocery store just 1 week after his last murder. Rolling was publicly named a suspect 8 months later. He pleaded guilty in 1996 and was executed in 2006.
Well, that's the first execution I've ever attended. And I only did that because the families would become so close with the victims' parents and their relatives.
This case was one of the first in the nation to use DNA to identify the suspect. Clifton says GPD added new procedures after learning how to work with DNA evidence.
If you're going to commit murder in any city, Gainesville's the wrong place to do it. And that was kind of the legacy we left there. And I guess that's, as I say, that's the highest compliment you can pay a law enforcement agency.
Clifton stepped down as police chief in 1996. He retired and moved to Mississippi in 2012. He says he stays in contact with many of the families until he moved, and he thinks about them often. Reporting from the newsroom, Jenny Tittner, WUFT News.